there's about 14 people here, and 7 of you are going to pretty soon finding a new career, because 50% impact of the machine learning. Today, my topic is about learning about machine learning, artificial intelligence. There are 3 areas I'm going to cover: the application of it, and how it worked, and the impact to us, to our society. Back in college days, I took this course called Engineering and Society. At the end of the course, I gave a speech, verbal presentation on speech recognition. And I went on and on about the glory of speech recognition. It's going to lower the barrier for the society. We're going to have world peace, and on and on. At the end, there to be always a question. People ask, when is going to happen? And I thought about it. I said, well, that's going to be at least 2 decades away. And I wasn't too far out. It's happening now. Speech recognition has happened in last month in the Baidu is the Google of China. This person was given a speech in English and simultaneously translated to Chinese and synthesized to Mandarin simultaneously in his own voice. And that's happening already last month. And that's how good this technology has been. In terms of application, we see self-driving cars coming along the way. We see movie prediction, movie recommendations. We see merchandising suggestion. We see chatbot. If you ever log into a website and trying to talk to the service guy, you might be talking to a machine or chatting with a machine. Fraud detection, malware detection. That's already happening. A lot of our competitors are applying the technology to machine learning, to fraud detection. And Baidu has this rule, 3-second rules. Anything that human can do 3 seconds or less, machine can do better. 3 seconds. So how does machine learning work? There are basically 2-step process. The first one is train. The second is infer. I'm going to do a very high level. Very high level. There's no way I could go through very nitty-gritty details. Basically, it's a huge amount of correct data to feed this into this machine that consists of neural network. And if you ever seen want to recognize a picture of a cat, you have to feed like millions of pictures of cat, and you easily get that from internet these days. And you can just feed that, and then eventually this thing can automatically regenerate itself, re-optimize itself, and to be able to recognize it. So this neural network thing is actually invented back in 1970s. It was not a very new technology, but because of recent advances in GPUs, we're able to starting to see that coming to fruition. And the way it works, it really mimics the human neurons in our brain. It consists of multiple nodes. There's a lot of different layers of nodes of this node, and then they're connected to each other like a mesh. Think of it as a sponge, like our brain is like a sponge. So it's very similar to how our physically brain work. And the way it works on each node is very simple. It has input, output, and this thing just applies a weight and offset. The weight is a multiplier, offset is just an adder. Very simple, primitive, thus to do this calculation. And when we train, we optimize, changing the knobs of each node, so we optimize the input to the output. Very simple. It seems like a simple algorithm, but it takes, because the node, there's so many of them, it takes a lot of calculation. And for example, Google visualization, you can go into Google visualization, you can visualize, you can recognize a person, recognize anything, a cat, a dog, or whatever. They consist of at least 10 million nodes. and billions of connections between this neural network. So the models are the good data produce good model. And the better data you have, the better the model is going to be. So the second step is just load the network with these optimized settings, and the inference engine will take care of it. This is the second step. That's much simpler because at that time you already optimized your input, your output. So what is the downside of machine learning? It's very hard to predict the outcome. If you attend a newlywed, you see they cannot guess what each other is thinking. And that is one of the downside of machine learning. It's very hard to predict. I was talking to a researcher here, a malware detection researcher. We have a technology, we don't want to use it because we cannot explain how it works. And that's one of the deficiencies. So coming back is the era of machine learning is really upon us. 20 to 50% of jobs will be lost, replaced by machine learning, like truck, cabs, the Uber driver, they're going to all be replaced and lost to those autonomous drivers. Even the high-end jobs like radiologists, they are losing their job because machine can do better, recognize the X-ray. And even programmers are losing their job because, according to the Wire magazine this month, the cover headline is "End of Code." We won't program anymore. We can just train machine like dogs. You don't need a programmer to write algorithm. So what does that mean to human? What does that mean to us as a human? Is all we have are emotions? We don't have intelligence to compete with? What about this thinker man? How are we going to define that? So they're all coming back to this, my class, engineering and society. Allow me to reflect the impact of a technology. Thank you.